W05 and we are up against x5e. Today my team will be Omega Sentinel, Pryde and Rintrah. We were gonna try to push for a win here, but something happened at the start and we had to give up on that. So I'm taking path 1 in section 1, node 20 Man-Thing, Power Snack Kingpin, Mixmaster Mordo, path 5 in section 2, Killmonger on the shared fight, all right side mini bosses, and then the Doom boss with Omega Sentinel. First up is this Mephisto here, and I'm gonna be taking him with Pryde. He is a conduit defender, but the global isn't really gonna come into play in this fight. So I'm basically just gonna ignore all the nodes here. I'm just gonna be building up my prowess so that I can face my damage on the recoil masteries. The aura of incineration on Mephisto is just ramping up my prowess potency. So once I get Mephisto low enough for him to trigger his regen, I can finish him with a single special. Even if the regeneration on this Mephisto would get out of hand, Pryde at full prowess potency and 20 prowess has enough damage to drop him from full HP with a single special. So yeah, Mephisto isn't really an issue for Kitty. Next up is a Overseer on the Masochism node, and I will be using Pryde here. The unblockable allows you to completely ignore the auto block, so basically Overseer does nothing. Even without the unblockable from the Tigra synergy, Pryde is stun immune while facing, so if Overseer auto blocks you, you're not gonna get stunned and he's gonna consume his auto block. You'll see me punish most of his special ones with my heavy attack in this fight, and you don't have to do that, it's just a habit that I picked up from fighting him with Tigra so many times. And while knocking him down like this all the time is not necessary, it is an easy way to get in some more damage and punish his specials with any champion. He can't auto block your heavy attacks. I could have finished this fight with my special 3 a long time ago, but I'm just trying to get some free healing. Next up is Man-Thing on node 20, and you've probably already seen me take this fight earlier this season, but I will be going over the fight again. I use Omega Sentinel's pre-fight to start the fight in the heal block debuff mode, so that I don't have to throw any heavy attacks in this fight. So the general idea here is to trigger the Masochism node with a parry stun, and then throw a double medium to inflict the heal block debuff. After that, all I need to do is keep the heal block debuff paused by finishing all my combos with light attacks. I get in an extra heal block debuff whenever I can, because the special 2 inflicts more incinerate debuffs based on how many of Omega Sentinel's non-damaging debuffs you have active on the opponent. Now that you have both the heal block debuffs and the incinerate debuffs active on the opponent, all you need to do is just keep finishing your combos with light attacks to keep them paused. The heal block debuffs prevent him from healing again, and the incinerate finishes the job. Oh, and as for the strike counter Fury node, just ignore it. It doesn't have time to stack up too high. Next up is a Kingpin on the Power Snack node, and I'm using Pryde with the White Magneto pre-fight. The main reason for the pre-fight is just stacking up my prowess faster, as usual. Though it also does help with Kingpin's debuff shrugging. So the basic plan I have here is to just avoid triggering dexterity as much as I can, so that I don't trigger the Power Snack node. But not everything goes according to plan here. Kingpin's increased combat power rate, combined with the power snack and backup recovery node, this fight gets out of hand real fast. I didn't use an invulnerability boost, since at this point we had already given up on pushing this war. I was keeping a very close eye on his power meter, and just before he used his special 3 I did manage to trigger my phasing. That saved me this fight. Looking back, he did have a chance to use his special 3 before I could phase, but luckily he hesitated. I used my special 3 hoping it would finish the fight, but surprisingly it didn't. But then Kingpin just decided to pound into my face and drop himself. Next up is a Mixmaster Mordo, and I'm gonna be taking this one with Pryde using the White Magneto pre-fight. Once again, I've been taking the same fight here for all of last season and now this season as well. And probably will continue to do so for the next season and the season after that. We'll see. Hopefully people get a little bit more creative with their placements. But just to go over this fight real quick in case you haven't seen it yet, I'm only doing medium light combos to play the Mixmaster node. Even when he has a bar of power I keep doing that. If he throws his special one, I just face it and keep going. Nothing happens, and yeah, Mordo doesn't really do anything to Kitty here. I didn't need to throw the special 3, but I just felt like roasting him a bit. No matter what anyone says, Pryde is the best counter for Mixmaster Mordo. End of story. Next up we have a Guardian on Ebb and Flow Intercept, and I'm taking this fight with Pryde as well. So there's basically nothing dangerous about this fight. I'm not gonna be knocking him down, so conduit is not a problem, and I'm only gonna be using a special at the very end to finish the fight. I'm not really even quite sure why they did this placement. I don't really see anything difficult about it. There is no need to use specials here, so Guardian's auto-block is not a problem. And when it comes to Pryde specifically, Guardian can't block unblockable basic attacks from mutants, only specials. So, since I don't really have anything else to talk about in this fight, I guess now is a pretty good time to explain why we decided not to push for a win this war. So, at first we did want to win this one, but apparently someone, I'm not gonna say who, but someone didn't read the announcements and decided it was a great idea to go ahead and die 3 times to his first 3 fights in the war. So after that we just decided to not try to go for a win, since x5e is a very capable alliance. Starting the war at 3 kills behind them would be a bit too risky to try and push for a win and waste items for everyone else. It really does suck when some people just don't care enough to even read the announcements. I mean, that's the bare minimum you have to do. But that's enough of that. Next up is this Knull on Ebb and Flow Intercept, and I'm using Pryde here as well. The biggest issue with this fight are those debuffs that he inflicts on me at the start of the fight. They reduce my regen rate a lot due to the Despair Mastery, so I can't really heal up from my Recon Masteries, and I'm ticking down way faster than I normally would. As for how I decide to take this fight, I basically do it like I always do with any champion. Push Knull to his special 2 and bait that. It's a lot easier to dex than his special 1, and even if you do get clipped by it or you block it, it doesn't inflict the corruption on you, so it doesn't really do anything. If you're wondering how to dex his special 2, you first dex once to avoid his first swing, then when he starts dashing at you, for the flurry of swings, you dash back quickly 3 times, you wait for the last hit, and dex that as he comes down with his sword. You can even do that to punish his special 2 with your heavy attack if you time it right. So basically, to fight Knull, all you have to do is bait his special 2 and learn to dex it. Then we have a Killmonger on the Ebb and Flow Intercept shared fight, and I'm taking this one with Pryde as well. Now I'm not healing Pryde up here, since again we decided not to push here, so I'm just saving my loyalty. Whenever I fight a Killmonger, I never start the fight with a parry. The reason why is that Killmonger's reverberation damage is based on the amount of power he has at the start of Reverberation's activation. So at the start of the fight, when he has 0 power, the Reverberation does no damage at all. And since Killmonger gains power whenever he gets a debuff, starting the fight with a parry stun means that as soon as you start hitting him, you start taking the reverb damage. With Kitty specifically against Killmonger, you really need to build your prowess up by landing intercepts. Killmonger has extra critical resistance, so simply hitting him is not gonna help you much. Having the Nimrod synergy for guaranteed criticals on your heavy attack, or the White Magneto pre-fight for passive parry stuns, would be very helpful against any Killmonger you fight. But Kitty still works very well without them. Next up we have a King Groot on the Safeguard miniboss node, and I'm using Omega Sentinel starting with the heal block node. The game plan is the exact same as it was the previous war, so all I need to do is build up to my special 3, throw it when King Groot doesn't have his fury buffs, so that my incinerate debuffs won't get shrugged off. After that, I just need to get a heal block debuff up, and then the fight is basically over. I just need to finish all my combos with light attacks to keep all the debuffs paused. The heal block debuff keeps his regeneration in check and makes sure that the conduit global can't negate most of my damage, and the incinerate debuffs just take him down very fast. In the end, this is a very easy and safe fight, but even if you do mess up somehow and drop your incinerate debuffs, all you need to do is either build back up to your special 3 or play it like normally. The heal block debuff is enough to finish the fight, although it will be pretty slow. The hardest part about this fight is getting an opening after your special 3 for a combo to get your heal block debuff up. You can either bait a special if King Groot has one, land an intercept, or bait a heavy attack. Now that the debuffs are already up, King Groot can't shrug them off anymore, so all you need to do is finish your combos with light attacks to keep them paused. The incinerate will finish the fight soon enough. Just to put it out there, do not let King Groot get to his special 2. It quite literally will melt you since you're a robot. So as long as you don't do that, you'll be fine. Next up is a Darkhawk on the Stunning Reflection miniboss node, and I'm taking this one with Omega Sentinel as well. I'm starting the fight with the heal block debuff mode. The basic idea is to just do normal combos until he drops. Also, if you saw my previous war, you might remember that I found a neat little trick with Omega Sentinel against the Stunning Reflection node. I will be using that this time. Honestly, the start of this fight is pretty boring. There isn't anything special going on, and all I'm doing is normal combos and waiting a special one. Having the heal block debuff on here is very useful, since Omega Sentinel's second medium attack is energy based, and Darkhawk is a conduit defender. I like to deal with his special one by dexing the first and last beam, and then dashing in to punish it. And now that I'm finally at 10 armor buffs, I can use Omega Sentinel's auto block to disable the stunning reflection node. To explain why this works, Omega Sentinel's auto block inflicts an incinerate debuff as well as the parry mastery. But the incinerate debuff triggers first, which then disables the stunning reflection node, allowing your stun to stick. It's not necessary to do that, but it does speed up the fight a bit. Then we have another Rintrah on the brute force mini-boss node. And once again I'm using Pryde with the White Magneto pre-fight. The game plan is the exact same as it was the last war. I am baiting Rintrah's special one and punishing it with my heavy attack to knock him down. Knocking him down removes 5 of his charges every time, and without them, Rintrah doesn't really do anything special. The only real difference with this one and the previous time I fought him is that I'm not being as reckless. For Rintrah special 2, I always face the last hit. I'm not gonna gamble with dexing it, as if I fail and get clipped, I will die. If you use your special straight after phasing, your phase will still be up long enough to go for a heavy attack straight after, as long as your opponent doesn't have a special ready and they are cornered. And just as a reminder on how to punish his special one with your heavy attack safely, as soon as he starts the animation, get as far away from him as you can. Then, once he starts rushing at you, you dash back once more and charge up your heavy. To finish up the fight, I wait his special 2, face the last hit for extra prowess and drop my special 2. And this went a lot cleaner than last time. And then for the last fight of this war, we have another Doom boss, and I'm using Omega Sentinel starting with the heal block debuff. And just as a friendly reminder, always check that your pre-fights have actually applied before going in the fight, with any champion and any pre-fight. If you can't see the pre-fight icon when you back out of the fight, it's not there and you have to reload your war map to get it on. So the game plan here is to get my heal block debuffs up and drop my special 2 for the incinerates. After that I need to do my best to keep them paused for as long as I can, because the incinerate is my best source of damage. Before throwing your special 2, you have to remember to wait out Dr. Doom's aura, and you do wanna try to stack up all 3 of your heal blocks, because the more of Omega Sentinel's non-damaging debuffs you have on the opponent, the more incinerates your SP2 triggers. Everything lined up well, and I got my special 2 off with the maximum amount of incinerate debuffs. Now I really just need to get a combo in to get them paused. One important thing to mention that I didn't mention before is that normally Omega Sentinel is a very tanky champion, but on the boss node the opponent has True Strike, which ignores everything. So basically your armor ups mean nothing. Everything lined up well, so I threw another special 2 to stack up even more incinerates. Now this would have been a very good thing, but for some reason I finished my combo with a medium attack instead of a light, so I couldn't pause the debuffs. Had I done that, this fight would have been nearly perfect. Here my second set of incinerates were so close to dropping, so I decided to let them drop and stack up another 3 heal blocks and dropping another special 2 to get a full duration on them. At this point I do manage to keep my debuffs paused for the rest of the fight and Doom goes down without any issues. The fight went well, but I am a little disappointed that I dropped the debuffs before. Could have finished the fight a lot faster had I not done that. But hey, a solo is a solo, I'll do it better next time. And of course we ended up losing this war. Pretty big actually. 46 to 13.